How do I know that my lymph is draining? Especially if you're implementing lymphatic drainage routines. Like, how do you know it's working? So this is going to look different for every single person out there. Now I'm going to answer it in a couple different ways so that you guys understand what the entire picture of the lymphatic system looks like. So I want you to keep in mind the lymphatic system really is managing fluid. So if we're retaining fluid, our lymph likely isn't draining very well. Our immune system and transportation of dietary fats and the drainage and removal of waste products so that our liver can process it and then our kidneys and gut can remove it from our body. All right. So a super simple, very direct answer is, well, if you visibly have fluid and the fluid is going down, it means your efforts are working. That's kind of like a duh, no kidding. So for individuals that have lymphedema, lipedema, or maybe you don't have either of those diagnoses, but you have swollen feet by the end of the day, or your fingers and hands are swollen by the end of the day, and you're noticing that your feet aren't as swollen or your rings aren't as tight, then yes, you can assume that your efforts are starting to clear and move your lymphatic fluid. For those that have visible, a lot of fluid retention, either due to lymph nodes being removed, radiation, chemotherapy, injuries, scars, surgeries, and now the amount of fluid or the amount of, say, tension, stretch in the skin, you're not feeling as uncomfortable, your stiffness isn't as bad, then you can assume that your lymphatic drainage efforts are working. Now, what happens if you're somebody who doesn't have visible fluid retention? Does that mean your lymphatic system is draining properly? Unfortunately, the answer to that is no, because the lymphatic system is not just about fluid retention. There's a lot of other things that your body can express when our lymph system isn't functioning. So let's talk about some of the symptoms, because realistically, the best way to find out and figure out whether or not your lymphatic system is starting to move better is, are your symptoms that can be associated or linked to lymphatic congestion, are those improving? So let's talk about some of the big ones. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a super simple way for you to track it. All right. So some of the biggest things is face puffiness, eye bags, double chin, okay? So when we're looking aesthetically at the face, especially in the morning, do we have eye bags? Do we have a more puffy, rounded face? Do we have a double chin? Now, this isn't just in the morning, this can be all day. But are you waking up and you're less puffy? You don't have as much of the fluid under your eyes, or your double chin, triple chin is now getting smaller. That is indication that your lymph is starting to flow better. How about headaches? Headaches are a big one, actually, especially since our brain, our lymphatic system only drains at night. So if we have headaches, which was one of my major lymphatic congestion symptoms, I had chronic daily headaches from the age of 8, 9 until about 21. Now when I get a headache, I'm the biggest baby in the world. I'm like, how did I function? How was I able to do what I did? Because now I'm like, oh my God, my head hurts. And it's usually because I'm dehydrated and it's on me. But let's go back to headaches. If our brain isn't draining, we're gonna have a toxic soup that our brain is sitting in. That toxic soup is gonna drive inflammation, which 100% can drive headaches. Now, I'm not saying every single headache is associated with lymphatic congestion, but rarely do I not see headaches improve when lymphatic drainage improves. So is the intensity improving? Is the frequency improving? Are you getting less headaches? Great sign of whether your efforts are improving. How's your digestion doing? Because remember, lymph and digestion go hand in hand. So if you're somebody that deals with constipation, diarrhea, a lot of bloating, a lot of gas, undigested food in your stool, now all of those are going to absolutely have a lymphatic component. It doesn't mean the lymph is the only thing, but there's 100% a lymphatic component to it. Are those improving? Are you maybe experiencing less bloating after a meal, or the bloating isn't lasting as long, or you're not getting bloating as often as you used to. Maybe your bowel movements are becoming more frequent. So instead of having a bowel movement every 3-5 days, maybe you're now having it every 2-3 days. Still not perfect, but that is definitely moving in the right direction. Are you waking up feeling less stiff and achy in the morning? Meaning, when you wake up, do you have the dexterity or the ability to move your hands and your knees and your ankles and your feet and your hips and your shoulders and your back a whole lot easier? Because lymphatic congestion, especially at night, right? Because we're sleeping, lymph moves with movement. If we're clearing that toxic waste and more of those toxins and waste products are leaving, it's going to cause less inflammation at night while we're sleeping, which then means less inflammation, better movement. So are you waking up feeling less achy or having looser muscles? That's a great indication that your lymphatic system is moving and functioning a whole lot better. Do you have less brain fog? And that can be throughout the day. And I'm going to tie brain fog in with mood a little bit. They're very different, but it's still a lymphatic. This goes back with the headache. If we have clearer thinking, or if we're not needing to go and grab that cup of coffee in the middle of the afternoon because we have more energy and our mood is more stable, we're not having these bouts of snappiness and being irritable and on edge, that tells me that your lymphatic system is starting to clear and move the toxins and the waste. Depression and anxiety has also been linked to lymphatic congestion. So are you having less anxiety or panic attacks? Are they happening less frequently? Are they less intense? Are you generally less depressed? Do you feel more optimistic or happier? And although these seem very subtle, and usually what happens is over time we start to maybe notice these things. But what I hear a lot of people telling me is, I don't notice a change. And I'm talking specifically from my one-on-one clients when I've been doing this for decades. What happens is we end up getting change happen over time. It's not usually I started doing it and within a week, boom, no more fatigue, no more brain fog, no more fluid retention. I'm pooping every day. It's usually not that dramatic. It can be for some people, but generally speaking, not that dramatic. Usually what happens is little by little, things start to improve. And what happens is when things happen little by little over time, we actually don't notice it. Yep. It's actually a protective mechanism that is built into us. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it means that we're gosh, I don't think this is working. When in reality it is working, we just forgot how bad it was before we started doing this. So one of the things that I always have my clients do is fill out almost like a checklist of the symptoms that they have, how often it's happening, the intensity, the frequency. And then what I have them do is I have them fill it out again a month later, again 2 months later, again 3 months later, without looking at the prior one and comparing it. Because what I found in 98%, and this is but majority of people, there's obviously been a couple where nothing did change and we had to look into other things, but almost every single person had improvements, but they weren't that big dramatic, so they didn't notice it. So if you guys want the tracker that I used with my one-on-one clients, all you got to do is click the link below. I'll give it to you. And what I recommend that you do is that you fill it out, honestly, take a second and really go, okay, what do I have going on? And then a month later, without looking at the first one that you filled out, fill out another blank one and then compare it. And more times than not, people are pleasantly surprised. They're like, gosh, I forgot how bad it was. Now, one more quick thing, and then we're gonna wrap this up for you guys. Ask your spouses, ask your best friend, ask your kids, do you notice any changes? More times than not, the ones that were around more often are like, oh God, yeah, you stopped complaining about this, or you're no longer, saying this is going on, or I haven't heard you say XYZ in 3 days. Others around us notice change quicker than we do. So that's one other quick tip is ask your loved ones, hey, do you notice a change? Is there anything different with me? All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. And what I'll do is, like I said, click the link below. You can see the most common symptoms along with filling it out so that you can track your progress as well. Thanks for being here. And as always, happy draining.